Okay, we're back to Mishlei 11, and this is 11:16. And as I mentioned in the description, I have not seen this pasuk before. So not that I've seen every pasuk, but like it's always a shock to me when there's a pasuk that I just never recall ever seeing. So I will we'll have an adventure. We'll see where we go. Okay, so it is Ashes Chain, not Ashes Chayil, Ashes Chain, Tismoch Kavod. Va'aritim yismechu osher. Anyone want to take a stab at translating that?
A woman of favor.
Okay, so one way to translate this is a woman of favor. The other way to translate it is, how anyone know the other way to translate it? And you could use the word favor also, but there's another way to have the relationship between Ashes and Chain. Or the wife of a man of favor, and that's the same thing with Ashes Chayil. Ashes Chayil, we're so used to translating Chayil as a quality of the woman herself, but the word Ashes is wife of, as opposed to like Isha, blank, like Isha Tova is a good woman. Ashes Tov would be the wife of a good man, and I think the Mefarshim take it both ways here. So either a woman of favor or the wife of a man of favor. Okay. So Tismoch, you'll see I have here, grasp, support, attain. That's the dictionary here from Al Torah. Grasp, lay hold of, hold up, support, hold, or keep. I was thinking the pesukim that you might be familiar with are the one that people sing when they take the Torah out of the Aron, when they put it back in Mishlei 3. Where is it? So it's a tree of life to those who hold on to it. And those who are tomechet are happy, right? So tomech either means to support or to grasp. Another recent exposure that we had to this is the Kriyas Torah of Purim, which is at the end of Bashalach with the war against Amalek. When Moshe would raise his hands and lower them. So it says V'idei Moshe kavedim vayikachu evan vayasimu tachtav vayeshav aleha. So the hands of Moshe were heavy, and they took a stone and they placed it under them. Vayeshav aleha, and he sat on it. The Aaron v'hor tamchu v'yadav mizeh echad mizeh echad, and Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on this side and one on that side. Okay, so let's say either supports or grasps. Okay, Kavod. Sorry, Yosef, you were translating.
Va'aritim yismechu osher, and
how would you translate kavod? Just to get
kavod, honor.
Yeah, honor.
Yeah.
You could also say glory, depending. Hold on a second. Just use the slashes here. Okay, yeah, and va'aritim. Okay, so aritim. Aritim? Aritim is not
like upright people.
Interesting. I wonder if that. It could be it's used that way. So the dictionary says, hold on. Always, I can never click on it. Dictionary says, interesting. So it says awe-inspiring or terror-striking. So I always thought that this was like had a negative connotation. Like an aritz is like a person who, like an intimidator, someone who uses his strength to intimidate. So I wonder if there's a neutral term that we can use. They say ruthless, a wicked man, ruthless, most terrifying of the nations, formidable adversaries. Yeah, in a bad sense of formidable adversaries. So let's say, and I'm going to say intimidating men. Yismachu osher.
Riches for osher.
Riches, yeah. Wealth. Yeah, let's say wealth. Okay, so woman of favor or the wife of a man of favor supports or grasps honor or glory. Let's say, but intimidating men support or grasp wealth. Okay, so
is it for sure a but, or can we do an and but?
We can do an and but. Yeah. Okay. Hold on here. Once again. Oh, it worked. Okay. Metzudas Tzion says aritim is chazakim. So he just says strong. Okay, so let's say, and strong. Do we need to do a column thingy? Or are we okay with this?
Maybe we're good for now.
Okay, all right. I'll use you as the mat here. All right. So yeah, Aritim is strong. Okay, Sadigon has a I think we've talked about this before, that Sadigon has these pesukim which he calls either the Yesh pesukim or the Timsa pesukim, which is where you he says, like, I mean, he's translated here, Timsa Tomeches Avud Ba'alas Chen. What does that mean? Avud? V'tomche ha'osher aritzim. I'm not even sure how to translate that. You will find Tomechas ha'avud, a supporter of, I don't know if avud is like work, that which is made.
Slavery, Confederate.
Yeah, I don't know. Avud is just a weird way to say it. You know, I'd rather actually not speculate about the Sadigon. So let's just leave them out for today. Okay, Targum though has a radically different one. Targum says, Itza chasidita, a wife who is chasid. Okay, obviously, you know, feminine. Okay, there's a chasidita, so it's a quality of her. Falga aikara will share glory. Okay, share honor or glory. Va'ashine, but strong people, rahatin basar usra, run after wealth. Okay, very different there. Art scroll, a woman of grace upholds honor, but the insolent uphold wealth. Okay, insolent is a little weird. How do you even translate insolent in English? Insolent. Oops. No, that's not define. I also spelled it wrong. Define insolent. Something showing a rude or arrogant lack of respect. So are you seeing they're translating that? Okay, fine. I'm not sure about that. And they say uphold wealth. Okay. I guess we could say uphold. Upholds. All right. Living Now says woman of grace upholds honor, while oppressors uphold wealth. Oppressors is like what I was saying, intimidating men. Yeah, and we don't even have to say men, but those who are strong or intimidating, because this might, if the first half is talking about the woman, the second half might also be, I don't know, gender inclusive. Okay, and Alter says a gracious woman holds fast honor, but the arrogant hold fast wealth. Okay, they also go with this insolent thing. Yeah, I'm gonna say graciousness. Another one. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, did you mean to delete men?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Did I not? Yes. Thank you.
Also, okay, like a question on just the Targum's translation is like, yeah, is he within realm of those words like chassid and share?
I mean, chassid, it's interesting because I think if you say, so when we think of chassid, we usually think of someone who's like extra righteous, but we have to also remember that chassid comes from chesed. Chesed means doing extra, and chen is also to do extra, like to be gracious and to like ata chonin la'adam das, one who gives, you know, God's the one who gives knowledge graciously, you know. So I think it is within the realm of literal translations. I don't think it's like, I think it's just surprising to me, but I don't think it's a
and sharing as well.
Sharing is an interesting one. How does he get that? Tomech. Yeah, let me just look at that Al Torah translation again and see if there was a something that he might have gotten that from. Where are we? Oh, by the way, also not to spoil next week's pasuk. The next pasuk is about chesed, which maybe is why he took it as chesed here. Okay, let's see here. Tomech, grasp, support, attain, sustain. Yeah, none of these Hebrew words seem to mean share, or the other way to translate it, palga, is split. Like the door haflaga, people say the generation that like split apart. Yeah, so I don't know where he's getting that from. It could be I'm translating it wrong, but I don't think so. In fact, I kept the jasper open just to show you. So peleg is to part or to share. Oh, is this our pasuk? No, it's not our pasuk. Yeah, let's see. Polga is part or half, right? The Aramaic word for machlokas is a plugsa, you know, a split.
Yeah, but that would work with like the translation of splitting rather than sharing, right?
Yeah, split. I could write split in here also. We'll split share. Yeah, I was saying that it doesn't seem to follow from the I don't see where he's getting it from tomech, the word tomech. Okay, and then the last part you can. It's funny also. You notice he translates tismoch and yismachu are the same. Same shorish, but he translates it as here as to split or share. Here's to run after. So that's also a very, seemingly non-literal translation. Okay, what are our questions here?
Why? This whole thing just seems like no. Like, are you sure?
Okay, I feel like those are three good questions, right? So so broadly speaking, okay, why?
What's the connection between these two traits?
Okay.
Right? Like,
what is the connection between the two halves? Let's just say two halves to make it even broader. Okay.
Oh, I was saying the traits even between like Ishmael and Tismach Kavod and Aritzim and Yismach Osher.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll add to that. They seem like two different subjects that have nothing to do with each other. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question.
In the second half of the pasuk, is this just specifically talking about women, or also men, or the whole pasuk? Like,
all right, yeah. So let's ask that on the whole pasuk here. Okay, which is how would we ask this? What role do each of the genders play in each half of the pasuk? And I think it's also a good question here, like, is this even gender specific? Or is it just giving a common example? Like, for example, maybe it could say Ishchein Tismoch Kavod also, but like, I don't know, but like in the household, then maybe the woman more, typically does this role, right? Or it could just be, or it could mean specifically it has to be a woman, that this is something that's unique to women. And, for example, in the, I'm going to spoil interpretations that we're not going to learn, like in the metaphorical Mefarshim, like let's look at Rashi. We're not going to learn Rashi. Rashi says, Tismoch Kavod Knesset Yisrael, to karev tami lekavod hakadosh baruch hu b'toraso. So Rashi, who's learning it metaphorically, says that the wife is a metaphor for the congregation of Israel, right? So we know that is gender specific, because in our relationship with God, then Klal Yisrael is considered to be the woman and God is considered to be the man, So there it is gender specific. Or let's say like in the Meiri's world, which I don't think we're going to get to his Derech Nisser interpretation, the woman is a mashal for the psyche and the body, and so like that would be gender specific. So that's my question here, is in the Pshat, which is what we're going to be doing, is this gender specific, or is it just giving like a stereotypical case? And like Ariel said, is that how in the second half, like it doesn't mention anything about women. It's only Aritzim, which presumably is men. So like what happens to the women there? Is the woman there, but like, I don't know, like it's weird to talk about the woman in the first half and not the second half, I guess.
Also in the second half, why is it like speaking about wealth, and then like basically what's the point of bringing wealth in? Because it doesn't seem like in the first half it's just saying that like she does those actions with glory, honor, whatever, but it doesn't say anything about wealth.
Okay, I'm going to tack that onto the first question, which is the subject kavod, wealth, or some like combo, right? Because the first half just talks about kavod, the second half just talks about wealth, and they're being thrown into the same pasuk.
Also strong, intimidating, like, is that good or bad? Because I feel like normally strength is a good thing.
All right, so let's say, what is the definition of aritzim? Aritzim in this context, is this positive, negative, or neutral? And I do thank you for saying that this could be and, because if it's positive, then then it might be more likely that this is and. But if it's negative, then I could see how it could be but. Yeah.
Is rating the wife of a man a favor? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. So let's just ask this in a general question, which is, what is an Ashes Chain? So is this a quality of the woman, or of the man, or of the relationship, right? Like, in other words, if you translate it as a woman of favor or graciousness, then it seems to only be a quality of the woman. If it is the wife of a man who has favor, so then it might be a quality of their relationship, or maybe it's just talking about him, but talking about like the role that she plays in his household, or if it's talking about what would the other one be? Yeah, you know what? Hold on. This could also be a wife of favor or graciousness. Yeah, right. Fine. We'll just keep it like this, right? Is a quality of the woman, the man, or the relationship, and then what does it mean?
Also, like similar to that, are we just like, I guess methodologically supposed to be like comparing to HS Kyle? Because like I feel like there aren't that many terms used to describe women.
It's a good question. I wonder. I don't know. I just out of curiosity, I just want to check out.
Also, they're both Shlomo, so I feel like that's also
right. Yeah, I just want to see how much he uses the term, any of these terms here in Mishlei. Okay, so we have Ashes Nurecha, the wife of your youth. Ashes Ra, the wife of an evil person. Ashes Ish, okay, a married woman. Ashes Re'ehu, a wife of his friend. Ashes Ksilus, wife of or woman of foolishness. Ashes, see, now this is a good example, by the way. Ashes Ksilus, here Ksilus. Well, actually, I don't even know. Never mind. Ashes Chain, that's our pasuk. Ashes Chayil. Ashes Midyanim, a wife of contentiousness. We've done that in the morning, in morning Mishlei. Ashes Midyanim, okay, another one we've done in the morning. Ashes, okay, that's not even Ashes. Ashes Midyanim, another contentious woman. Ashes, see, this is another good example. In the morning, we did Ashes Midyanim, and Ashes, Ashes Midyanim either means the wife who is contentious or the wife of a contentious man. Ashes Midyanim, okay, fine. Ashes Chayil, yeah. So, Rivki, I think the answer to your question is there are not enough good cases or cases of good Ashes, like Ashes blank, where blank is a good thing, to really determine it. We've got Ashes Chayil, and we've got Ashes Chain and Ashes Chayil, and that's pretty much it. And the rest of them,
I had no idea there were so many. I never learned one with like Ashes something that wasn't Chayil.
Yeah, it is strange. Yeah. I told you where Ashes Chayil comes from, right? I don't know you, but anyone know who's the only woman in Tanakh who's called an Ashes Chayil openly in the pesukim? Ariel.
Is it Tamar?
Is it Russ?
It's Rus. Yeah, it's Rus. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, so we need to ask the question also. What does tomech mean? Oops, hold on a second here. What does tomech? Well, I'll just put it in the Shoresh term. Tamach mean in this context, and then in parentheses I'll say, why does the Targum translate it as split or share in the first half, but chase after in the second half, or run after?
And also, like, why do we translate it not like the Targum? Like, why do we translate it as like the same for both? Like, what should we be learning from the same implication?
Right. Yeah. And I think this is a good question on we've seen a lot of pesukim where the Mefarshim take it as the pasuk uses synonyms. So like when it uses the same term, that seems to be drawing your attention to the fact that it's the same thing, like what is the significance of its usage in both halves? Well, we didn't ask what kavod is in this context, so let's ask that. What does kavod mean in this context?
Is that in the second half or the first half?
That is in the first half. So tismoch kavod. also, how does she do this, right? How does the Ashes Chen Tismoch Kavod practically? And how do the Aritim Yismachu Osher, practically speaking?
Why is one singular and one's plural?
That's a good question.
I don't know if it's like necessarily like deepest thing, but like
no. So I'll list it. Yeah, I'll list it in case, right? Because we usually have. So I mean, it's funny because these are not typical Mishleic personalities. But let's see. Let's just go back to our Perek and see if we have the examples here. Where, for example, hold on. What am I looking for here? I think we had examples in the 10th Perek of where the good person in the pasuk is singular. So let's say Sifsei Tzadik Yiru Rabim the Evilim Bachasar Levi Musa. So it has the good person being singular and the bad people being a plural. But then we have the opposite here. Magoras Russia, Kitavona Vitavas Sadikim Yitain, plural, singular, okay, singular, plural. Yeah, so I'll ask it anyway, but I'm just saying that like we've seen patterns here that like, or sorry, we've seen no patterns here, that it just seems to sometimes say singular, sometimes plural. Okay, so actually, you know what might be, okay, I'll ask it anyway, and then I'm going to give a reading translation answer in a second. So I'm going to just put this as a indented question. Why is the first half singular and the second half plural? Yeah, so it's possible that the reason why the first half is singular is because what would the plural be? If it was plural, it would have to say neshei chayil, and then it would be ambiguous about whether it means women of chayil or wives of chayil. But when you have it here, you're forced to say either isha or ashes. So it might just be, I mean, again, we don't even know what ashes means in this context, but it might be in order to be able to like be more specific. I don't know.
Wait, I don't get the difference.
In other words,
sorry,
not chayil. Yeah, I meant chen. If it were to be plural, you'd have to say neshei chen, and then you would lose because. And in other words, the plural of because nashim chen will not be grammatically correct. You'd have to say neshei chen, and then you would not know whether it means wife of or woman of.
But don't we still have that problem right now?
Yeah, we still have that problem, but I'm saying that if he wants to preserve the ambiguity, if he wants to draw attention to the ambiguity, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I have a bit of a nuanced questions, and I'm not exactly sure how to catch all the nuances.
Sure.
But is wealth here good or bad? Okay. And like why? Because wealth normally you would consider to be good. But unless here it's coming at the cost of that honor or glory, but maybe it's in addition to. But if it is bad, then like why is it bad?
Can I add to that question?
Let me type one thing first, and then you can add to it. I'm just going to first ask, what does Osher mean in this context? Does it have a positive, neutral, or negative connotation? Yeah, Ariel?
So in my mind, like I kind of see like 4 different possibilities on reading this pasuk.
Whoa.
Like like one is where like the first half of the and I'm asking this as a question.
Okay.
Because I know I'm gonna forget later.
Yeah, sure.
The first half of the pasuk could be talking about a man, and a woman, and the second half of the pasuk could be talking about a man.
Okay.
Or it's all women, right? And the first half of the pasuk can be talking about. I mean, it's talking about a good person, or the second half of the pasuk can be talking about a bad person, or it's all talking about a good person.
Okay. Well, one thing, just when we say that the second, it's all about women. I mean, I think aritzim you have to read as men.
Oh, I thought that was a question whether it's vague or not.
Yeah, I mean, so sorry, let me clarify. It has to be. it can't be all women, because then it would be aritzot. So it's either only men or it's like both genders. Like how Hebrew goes like by the masculine plural if it's both genders.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. That helps a lot actually. So I have like 3 ways now.
Yeah.
Just
So that seems to be, isn't that going to be more a question, an extension of number 2? Like what role do each of the genders play in each half of the pasuk? Is this gender specific or is it giving a common example?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll add. Yeah. I think that's good.
So just to add to the last question on the wealth thing, is in relationship to honor, and it's not just like is it good, bad, or neutral, but in relationship to honor, does that affect its good, bad, or neutral status?
Okay. Especially in relationship, or in contrast to honor, right? Because we don't know if it is comparing them or contrasting them. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. Yep. Okay, I feel like, do we ask what tomech means? Yeah, we asked what tomech means. Oh, I think audience is important here. Okay, who is the audience and what is the practical implication? Right? Not clear at all what it's telling us to do or not do, or who needs to hear it. And not even clear whether it's directed at a man or at a woman, right? Because the Asia's ambiguity.
And I know we also spoke and asked about the kavod, but I'm just a little confused because I feel like kavod isn't generally something that we tend to value. Meaning if you have it, let's say I feel like we would say you can be you can have a nava and then also still have kavod, but I just feel like it's not something to I guess upholding it is different than going for it. Does that make a difference? The way that it's talking about.
Here's the interesting thing. Okay, so I agree with you in general. We're not usually in favor of pursuing kavod, but if you look at Mishlei uses kavod, treats it as a positive thing that it encourages us to pursue. It encourages us to pursue.
To uphold, I can understand, but pursuing it is
I mean, just the way that it says.
You have the Torah kavod, so.
Yeah, I just want to do a search for kavod and.
Also, it's not necessarily saying kavod of oneself.
That's also
either
true.
way. I mean, if it's not yourself, then what does that actually mean?
Well, kavod Hashem, right? Kavod of
or
other
in
people.
This context, it's talking about a man and a wife, so it could be of their spouse.
Yeah. So just to support my statement, actually, I'm gonna, so I don't forget Zach's question here. I'm gonna tack it onto this. Kavod. Oopsies. Kavod of whom? But Rifki, just to support my contention here. So check out how it's used in Mishlei here. So, okay, okay, that doesn't really count. Honor Hashem with your wealth and from the beginning of all your produce. Now, here is a good example. When it's telling you why you should pursue chachma, it says orach yamim b'yamina usmola osher v'chavod. That length of days is at its right, and wealth and honor are at its left. So it's saying if you get chachma, you're gonna get kavod and osher.
But meaning that's just a exactly that's a reaction to you're pursuing the chachma. It's not saying you should want kavod, so go and get kavod.
No, I think it is saying that. I think it is saying that because it's telling you why you should want. So this is the context here. Ashrei adam matzah chachma of adam yafik tvuna. So happy is the man who has found chachma and a man who could derive understanding. Now, why is this guy happy? Kito sachra mischar kasef u'mecharotz tuvasa. Its commerce is better than the commerce of silver, and it's more valuable than gold. Its produce is better than gold. Yakarhi mipninim. It's more precious than pearls. V'chol chavatacha lo yishvuva, and all your desires can't compare to it. Orech yamim biyamina. Length of days is at its right. Bismola osher v'chavod. At its left is wealth and honor. Derachacha darchei noam v'chol nasif nosecha shalom. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. So these are all perks of having chachma. As you get shalom, you get osher, you get kavod, you get orach yamim, you get stuff better than your desires. You get good commerce,
Could I potentially phrase Rifki's point as a question, which is
sure?
Is when he's saying honor in this pasuk, is he saying that it's a side effect of something, or is he saying that this is the goal?
Correct. That's a good question. Let me just show you another example though. So here's Chachma itself talking. Okay. Ani Chachma shachanti arma. I am Chachma. I dwell in cleverness or cunning. This is chapter 8. V'das mezimos emtza, and knowledge of strategies I will find. Yiras Hashem sanos ra ge'avagal v'derech ra ufitaku hasenesi. Fear of Hashem is the hatred of evil. Haughtiness and grandeur, and the evil path is a mouth of duplicities, and I hate. Okay, so now here's Chachma telling you why you should like be involved in Chachma. Li etza v'tushia. I have counsel and tushia. However you want to translate tushia. That's the really hard word to translate. Ani bina ligvura. I am understanding. I have strength. Bi malachim imlochu. Through me kings reign. V'roznim yichachu tzedek, and lawmakers enact righteousness. Bi sarim yasoru. Through me ministers rule. Unadidim kol shoftei arts, and nobles who are all the judges of righteousness. Ani ohavai ehav u'mashacharim sa'unani. Those who love me, I love, and those who seek me will find me. Osher v'chavoditi. Wealth and honor are with me. Hon atek gutstaka. Wealth that is atek. What is atek? Ancient wealth. Atek, hon, atek, enduring riches, and righteousness. Tov piryi micharutz. My produce is better than gold. Umipaz tuvosi mikesef nivchar. Yeah. So in other words, that's why I'm saying like it's a chachma advertisement. That this is what he's saying, that if you get chachma, then you'll find this stuff. Now, Zach, say what you were saying again, just so I can process it now.
Okay, and then I have a second one as well. But is in this context, is honor the focus? Meaning, like, is this something to be achieved, or is he like observing that this is a side effect of something else?
Okay, is kavod an end sought in and of itself, or is it an outcome of something else?
And then another question is, what's interesting is that I don't know if you realize, but like in the few things you just went through right now, in all of the examples, they put wealth and honor together.
I saw that, right. Yeah.
So I feel like
sorry, go ahead.
There might be a way to turn that into a question rather than just an observation, which is that
oh yeah.
Yeah, what?
No, go ahead.
Is that if they like if the pasuk is a and pasuk, then what is the lesson we can learn by splitting wealth and honor, which is normally together? Right. And if it's a but pasuk, then why is it a but? Because normally they're together.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm going to add that to the question, to Joseph's first question. What do we make of the fact that kavod and osher are in separate halves of the pasuk instead of together? And hold on just 1 second, I just got to get a book. When I was looking at at Alter, so Alter has these footnotes to like comment on his translations, and he makes the same observation. This is not going to add anything new. I just want to show you that someone else thought the same way you did. He says, honor and wealth. Elsewhere in Proverbs, they are coordinated terms, not antitheses. So he's taking it from a stance that they're being opposites, but I think you could read it both ways. Yeah, was someone going to say something?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I was kind of thinking more in line with what Rifki's saying, that it's more of a byproduct, that it's not something you really are supposed to pursue. And I was thinking this because of, well, first of all, the pasuk that came to mind was from Avot, where it talks about like those. No, it's from Avot. I think whatever, like those who run from honor, like honor chases them. I'm not exactly sure. I have to look it up, but and the opposite is true also. And those who like run towards it, like it runs away from them.
Yeah, I mean, so there. I mean, I just to be clear, I wasn't disagreeing with Rifki that elsewhere in other sources, then like kavod is not something that we say you should go after. But in Mishlei, I think kavod and osher are both things that he's like he's encouraging. Not because they're good in themselves, but because that's a great lo lishma for becoming a chacham, a Mishleic chacham.
Right, and or arguably there's slightly different definitions in these places.
Could be, yeah, could be.
Also, I was just thinking, I was thinking of like a little comparison of this like argument to like when you think of like olam haba, like a lot of people live their lives like, oh, like you do a mitzvah, like you're gonna get whatever it is in olam haba that you get, and like versus like there's the opinion that like no, like we're not living for olam haba, that's actually like a byproduct of our actions and everything that we do.
Right.
So like kind of like those two, like, yeah, neither one is saying, oh, it's a bad thing to have olam haba or kavod, but it's just like, is that a goal to try to attain in itself, or is that something that you achieve through doing other good things?
Yeah. So let me just add that to this question here. In other words, to what extent is this talking about the pursuit of kavod and osher as like primary goods versus like
byproducts,
or I'll say fringe benefits, right? Like in others, there's still benefits. It's not like just a byproduct, but yeah, I hear what you mean. Yeah. Remind me at the end, if we have time. I had I think it's more of a Koheles moment than a Mishlei moment this past Shabbos. That has to do with the Osher and Kavod, and I want to share it, but I don't want to share it during
That's
the thing.
Always fun. I'm also just curious for Ritzim, in general, is that like more of a negative connotation or a positive connotation or neutral?
I think it is more negative. But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, that All Torah translation, what did it say? The All Torah translation of Aritzim said, awe-inspiring, terror-striking, in a bad sense of formidable adversaries, personal, national, especially the Chaldeans, most terrifying of nations. These seem like late of wicked. These seem like negative. I don't know if it has to.
Are these all like, were each of those points like quotes, like where it was located?
It was generalizations of the way that it's used in those contexts, not quotes. Yeah. So in other words, if I were to incline towards assuming it's negative or positive, I would definitely say negative, even though it could have a positive meaning. Okay, I feel like this is all of our questions. I'm going to I did this once, and I told myself I was going to do it starting in 2021, but I just forgot every time. So I'm going to do this now before we have our thinking moment. And this is on my mind because I did my taxes, or I did most of my taxes today. So I actually looked. This is now, looking back at 2021, I can look at a full year of podcasting, and I realized that this has to do with Osher and Kavod. Don't worry. Is the Osher part is it cost me $2,000 to put up all the podcasts that I've been putting up and keeping up, so that's the Osher part. And that's why I'm saying this, not for the people just, exclusively here, but whoever's listening to this, is that this is why I'm very, very grateful for those who listen to the podcast and come to the Shiurim, that and feel it's like it's worth supporting, that they have either joined the Patreon or made sponsorships, because I'm paying for this out of pocket, just to make Torah more available to everybody. And if it weren't for the fact that so many people have supported it, then I would be out of pocket, So thank you to those who have done that. And if you want the kavod of honoring somebody with a sponsorship, that's the whole idea of the sponsorship thing. You can do it in memory of someone, in honor of someone, and it's a good incentive. So and you're donating to the cause of spreading Mishlei. So that's all, that's always a good thing. Okay, all right. So let's have our minute of thinking, and I will make this with all the questions on the screen. If I can, let me just consolidate. Yeah. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, let's think. Sorry, I have to add something. What did we talk about the subject? Oh, is the subject kavod, wealth, or some combo, or chen, or aritz? I mean, it's four things being talked about here, right? So it's hard to know which one's the subject and which one's the, facts. Okay. Okay. All right. Who has half-baked approaches here? It's a tough one.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
By anxious claim to smoke kavod, right?
Yeah.
Kavod is people thinking more highly of you, right?
I think that's a good definition of kavod. Yeah.
So just some very broad sense, but like, so obviously, like someone, at least the one that says graciousness, obviously someone who, let's say it's Ashes, meaning woman of, so it's a woman who is gracious to people, right? Who does like seemingly good things for people. It's kind of obvious that she'd get covered, no?
Right.
That people would think of her more highly. That's very, like, why is that like a...
Okay. So I think that's a question that we did not include in any of our other questions, which is, what is the chiddush or the havamina? Yeah. Yeah.
Can I start something by?
Yeah, sure. Oh, poor Ariel. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, so the Ram. So I heard Rabbi say one time at like a Q&A. This is kind of like the Rambam. I'm gonna paraphrase it, right?
Sure.
Like the husband in the relationship, it doesn't necessarily need like love, right? And I don't know where it is in the Rambam. I have to find it, but like he doesn't need like love. He just needs like malchus almost. Like it's like he's the king of the house, and like that's how the Rambam equates him. So like for him, like you have to like give him kavod.
Okay.
This is the Rambam. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Okay. And Rebbe said so. So then but you know, like the woman, like she needs like to feel like loved in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you know, and it's in that relationship, like the woman, you know, gives, you know, the husband honor, and like, you know, like the husband shows love towards, you know, his wife.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just like using that, you know, as like a pivotal point to, you know, maybe explain a little bit of this pasuk.
Okay.
You know, maybe like the first half of the pasuk, I don't necessarily think it's just talking about it in a relationship.
Yeah.
But however, like I think it, like the point, I feel like the chiddush is in the relationship.
Okay. So, you know, I want to add to that. And I also want to try to find the Rambam, because I think I might know which Rambam you're talking about.
Yeah, if you can find it, that'd be great, because I feel like I've been causing controversy.
Okay. Or so is this limited to a husband-wife relationship, or is that just an example? Yeah. So I think it would be the Rambam, if anywhere, the Rambam at the end of Hilchos Ishus, when it describes like how a husband and wife relate to one another. Give me 1 second, Rivki. In fact, actually, hold on just 1 second here. Okay. Huh, interesting. Yeah, this is probably what where it's from. So first, it talks about how the man should treat his wife. This is in Ramam and Hilchos Ishus 15:19 in the good numbering. I don't know where this is in the normal numbering. The end of Parak Tesvav. So a man has to honor his wife, which is interesting. He has to honor her also. He has to honor her more than himself, literally more than his body. I think it means himself, meaning his own person. Ohava, and he has to love her as much as himself, as much as his own person. And if he has money, he has to like be like lavish in benefiting her according to his monetary, his financial means. And he should not instill fear into her, excessive fear. And his speech with her should be gentle. And he shouldn't be I don't know if etzav here means like depressed or if etzav here means like causing pain, below rogas, and he shouldn't be wrathful. Okay, so that's how the man treats his wife. So this is probably what you're referring to. So the wife has to honor her husband more than necessary. Mora, and his she should have a certain reverence for him. And should conduct all of her actions based on his instruction. Right, and he should be like a king or an officer in her eyes. Following his desires and distancing everything that he hates. This is the way of all the daughters of Israel and all the children of Israel, men of Israel, who are holy and pure in their couple, their pairing. And in these ways, then their settlement, I guess, like their relationship will be beautiful and praiseworthy. Yeah. So the point so it is interesting. Just to frame it the way that Ariel was pointing out in the name of the Rosh Yeshiva, it never says that so it says that the man has to provide kavod and ahava for his wife, but it never says that the wife has to provide ahava for the husband, but it puts the emphasis on the kavod and on the treating him like a king, right?
That was the question.
Okay. Yeah. All right, good. All right, Rifki, what were you gonna say before we go back to Ariel?
But it's not related to this, so I feel like I should just wait until after.
Okay, I think we're going to remember this one. Why don't you throw out? Let's throw out all the pieces here, and then because I think Ariel has a good first step, but I think we'll just see what's out there, because I feel like this pasuk is going to need to keep our options open. Yeah, Rivki, and then Zach after that.
Okay, so it's really not anything crazy. I was just thinking about like the contrast between kavod and like osher, and I was thinking that I feel like, and I don't know if this is actually true in reality, but I do feel like you generally like can have like one of them encompassing the other one. And I was thinking that like, I feel like the steps, it makes more sense to say that you'll have like osher included in kavod than having kavod including in osher. So I think that for the first half of the pasuk, it makes more sense that like kavod is encompassed with like the eshet chayin, and that with the other one, like, first of all, we have seen that Shlomo does use osher as like a positive outcome to chachma and all these different things. But I do think that like it also can have a lot of negative repercussions to it. And I think that kavod also can, but I think like I said, that because kavod could encapsulate osher also, that it just, I feel like has, less negative maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I believe, and we'll have to try to take a look at this, I believe the Malbim, his interpretation of the pasuk is prompted by the fact that the pasuk splits them up. And I think he takes your question of like ordinarily they go together, but one is subsumed under the other. But if you only had one of them, then which one is going to be is going to lead to the other or be associated with the other? So I think when we do the assuming we have time to do the Malbim, I think he'll flesh out that idea. I mean, we'll try to work on it also maybe, but yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, Zach.
Okay, so it's kind of like a rough draft of a whole idea.
Okay.
Still needs some polishing. I'm actually going to use an idea that I got from my mother. She wrote a book called The Cherished Wife, which is like about how the woman gets certain things that she wants out of a relationship based off of how she engages in the relationship.
Okay.
And I was thinking that there's like a similar mechanism that might be going on here. So using the translation of like the wife of a man of favor.
Yeah.
So if that first half would be like the wife of a man of favor, like upholds honor.
Yeah.
And so like breaking that down further is like upholding what honor? Like I would say like it could be his honor. Mm-hmm. And also like the Rambam you just read, thanks Ariel, like I think helps might help polish it, but upholds his honor. And then like what does it mean, a man of favor? Like what's he doing extra? It's his treatment towards her, his way of interacting with her. in the positive attributes that the Rambam outlined. And so like that's like a let's say a system, like a mechanism here. So like a man who treats his wife with favor will be upheld by her in his honor. Okay, good. And then the second half is talking about how to engage in that mechanism. So he like outlined like a system in the relationship, and like the second half is like one who is like stronger, intimidating. And so like in this case, I think it can't be like the natural, like the regular context of strong and intimidating, of like, like intimidating the other person, but it has to be like or what I'm taking it as is, in a relationship, sometimes taking the first step is very difficult. Like when, something I've heard my mom say is that like sometimes couples say like, oh, I'll treat him like a king when he treats me like a queen, waiting for the other person is easier. So taking the first step is very difficult and intimidating. So the person who can be strong and like take that first step will be the one who's like bringing wealth into the system, meaning they're increasing this, dynamic of, honor to favor between the couple.
Okay, I like that rough draft. So let me just say it to make sure I got it. So Eshes Chen is the wife of a man of Chen, and being a man of Chen means that he treats her with these qualities of Chen, like meaning the Chen manifests itself in the way he treats her. We still might have to define what the Chen is exactly, but I think that's the way you're reading the phrase. And a woman who receives that is going to give the man what, according to the Rambam, he needs, which is a certain kavod or dignity or a self-esteem. So it's going to be like a symbiotic relationship. They're each going to support each other in the area that they need it. In fact, the chen thing, if you're taking chen in the most literal way of like going beyond what is necessary, either in chesed or in money, like that is also reflected in the Rambam we just read, because it says he has to be lavish in his spending on her, and he has to honor her more than himself. Even though he puts it in terms of honor, the point is that the man wants honor in excess, the woman wants extra, because that's like the manifestation of the love, like he's treating her in a special way, and so the kavod is a measure of that, whereas the man wants kavod per se.
Yeah. And I also want to just highlight the way it's phrased in the first half, is that it doesn't say a man who favors his wife will get honor from her. It says like a wife of a man with favor honors him, implying it's a message to both parties, meaning like if you're a woman who wants favor, then a woman who honors her husband is the wife of a man who favors her, meaning like it's a dual emphasis, is basically.
In other words, I mean meaning it
emphasis is that one leads to the other rather than one linear track,
right? In other words, he could have written this in a way where it instructs the woman what to do and then says what the result will be, but it kind of like has an implicitly acknowledges the positive way that he's treating her in talking about what she is doing for him, so like it really is it's referencing both contributions, in the same phrase. That's good. Okay, and then for the second half, you're saying aritzim yismechu osher. So strength here, you're saying, is not physical strength; it's strength in terms of the taking that first step in conducting yourself towards the other person in this way when you're not necessarily receiving the thing that you're seeking.
Like, and in order to do that, it's like, it's almost like you're facing the intimidation, meaning like there's like this, and that's why like the context of like being the strongest nation is kind of like part of what triggered that, is like when you're not getting what you need to take that step, to be the first person to take that step takes a certain amount of like being able to face that intimidation and strength.
Right. Yeah. I just want to check out something really quickly. Not that this is going to prove anything. No, never mind. I'm wrong. I'm not even gonna check it out. And then what does that do? That if those who do this support wealth. Now, how did you explain the wealth in this context?
So I'd say more like maybe grasp, but It's more that like it's introducing like this thing that they didn't have before. Meaning, here's the system, and this system was lacking in favor and honor. And like by being the first person to engage in the system correctly, you're bringing in this wealth into your life, which is like the things that you want out of this relationship.
Okay. Right. So wealth is slightly here, is slightly figurative, meaning we're not talking about money, right? We're talking about like, richness.
I mean, in following Mishleic principles, it might also lead to real money, but in this context now, it's figurative.
Yeah, I hear. So before I call on Ariel, let me just say I had one. So I guess I like the idea. I think the two, and these are not even objections. These are just the two soft spots, or in the idea are I feel like the wealth thing needs to be. I feel like it's unnatural that it's phrasing in terms of wealth, especially given what we've seen, like we said before, of Kavod and Osher going hand in hand. And in those other cases, it does seem to be talking about like actual wealth. So I would like to understand why it uses Osher, and I would also like it if the answer were not talking about like just the wealth in the relationship, because I feel like that's also implicit in the first half, that they're going to have a beneficial relationship because each person is getting like what they want. And I know you're saying it's going to bring in more than that. It's going to net more than they're putting into the system, but that's a little bit where
I'll think more on it.
Satisfied. Yeah. And then the outreach also, I understand the idea you're saying. I feel like it's a little forced, but I don't know for sure because I don't know enough about outreach. But those are my two like hesitancies. But I like the idea. Yeah, Ariel?
I was gonna ask why strong people why do they support or grasp wealth?
You're saying in general or according to Zach's idea?
In general, but also according to Zach's idea.
Okay, so in Zach's idea, he's not saying that it's strong people in terms of physical strength. He's saying that it's the people who have the strength to implement the first half of the pasuk, even when they're not getting the reciprocity yet. So it's like a figurative type of strength.
Okay, and can I just say two more things?
Yeah.
It may or may not, be associated with my original idea.
Yeah.
But I want to go under, just like the premise that Shlomo Melech is, maybe giving you some like relationship advice.
Yeah.
So that being said, I kind of just for a second, I want to take the second half of the pasuk like it's completely separated from the first half for just a moment, because I think it makes it easier. I think that if you're like usually people who go for wealth, are generally strong-willed or have like the mindset of just like not giving up, just like going after it.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe, and this part I may be completely making up, but I have heard it from somewhere. I heard from someone else that apparently that like in terms of attraction, like when it comes to like being attracted to men, like when it comes to your wealth or like having the ability to sustain a family, like stability, whether it may be financial stability or security or whatever it is, like that's more attractive than like looks or like other stuff. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, so, that makes sense. Like just evolutionarily and practically, like that's like what people what you're gonna want to look for if you're not able, women for however long in many areas of history were not able to support themselves, and so it makes sense that that's what they would be attracted to, someone who could provide.
Right. I just feel like I have to be very cautious in this year. Like.
So that's a call out, Ariel. I'm taking evolutionary psychology, so I would agree with you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So now just for the first half of the pasuk, and this kind of goes back to like that Dvar Torah I gave like a few weeks ago. Like normally, like even before you're married, you could like tell what kind of a person you're marrying, right? No, normally like depending on their, like midos, like if you're a Russia, you're probably gonna end up marrying someone who's like a zona, or if you're a tzaddik, the chances are you're gonna be attracted to someone who's like a sima, right?
Right.
So maybe you could say that like over here, you should look for these qualities, because I don't necessarily think it's just talking about a relationship. I think it's just talking about like people as a whole. Right, but it's just highlighting it in a relationship format.
Okay, I mean, so the what you said about the second half though doesn't that seem to point to it being about a relationship? I mean, I thought
that. No, it does. It does. The second half does. Like I'm bringing it back now.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm bringing it back.
Okay. Yeah, I see each of the points you're making. I don't necessarily see the connection. I don't know if you're making a connection, but I don't quite see how.
I'm not yet.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just throwing stuff up the wall right now just to see.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone have anything else?
Wait, I'm just confused. Are we taking a ritzim as like a positive thing or a negative thing? I feel like we didn't really.
Yeah, so far people have only really said positive stuff. I was inclined to take this as a negative. Can we just try that out and see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take it as but, right? So a woman, an Ashes Chain, however we're going to translate that, supports Kavod, but our reteams support wealth. So what does it mean to support or to grasp, I guess?
I feel like you could also, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I don't even know which translation is more I mean I feel like I feel like there are several ways to say grasp in Hebrew. So if it's saying tomech, then it must mean support. But I don't even know what that would mean. Yeah, go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know about the translation, but I think that like maybe we can think about like what I was saying before in terms of that, like I think that kavod could also include that, but I think like maybe there's some idea of like if you're really just going for wealth and like it's not like it's saying that they're going for wealth and something else. Like let's say like when Shlomo was talking about all those benefits, like it's not like he's saying more than just wealth. So maybe it's trying to give the idea of wealth in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because like I said, it could be included in kavod, but if you're only pursuing wealth, like then it's just not going to have positive repercussions for you, or at least, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard also. I mean, one of the questions we didn't really ask is the pasuk doesn't really, well, I guess we kind of asked this when we said, what's the practical ramification or implication? Pasuk doesn't really say a consequence here, it's just describing what people do.
But maybe, maybe like the structure of the pasuk, this is what I've been trying to think of, is that like the action, quote unquote, is the personality of being an Ashes Chain, or it is being an Aretz, and and it's saying like there's like a certain trend with these types of people that an Ashes Chain will be Tismich Kavod, or an Aretz will be Yismich Osher.
Yeah,
that's how I've been trying to approach it.
Yeah, I was thinking that way also. I was thinking for the Aretz Yismich Osher. I mean, this is again, I'm starting very simple here. Okay, not anything. I don't have any chiddush yet. People who are powerful tend to gravitate towards money, because money gives them more power. That's just the reality of money, so that like there's only so much you can do if you are physically powerful. But if you have money, you can at the very least hire more people who are physically powerful, and on higher levels you can influence opinions and politics and businesses, and you could destroy people and you can build people, so I think that's why people who are seeking, like, I guess I'm going with the Targum here, is strong people will run after wealth because they really want to augment their strength. Yeah, Ariel?
Yeah, maybe you could say that like strong people here, or intimidating or whatever, is like just like stubborn, like they're stubborn with like their with what they want, like it's difficult for them to change, and chasing after a certain thing. And like if they go for wealth, like that's all they're gonna want. Like they see wealth as like the end goal, but we know like wealth, like wealth is only good for what it can do. It's not like, it's not something that you can.
Yes. Stubbornness, I'm not quite seeing here. Stubbornness means like you are resistant, like someone is trying to do something to you and you resist it, or someone's trying.
Well, I'm just saying that because like he's just like he's just very he's just goal oriented in wanting the wealth.
Right.
Like he's strong-willed about it.
Single-minded, yeah, right.
Single-minded.
Yeah, so that I could see. Yeah. Okay, so let's take that and see what would happen if what would that reflect about the first half. So if you have people who are power hungry are going to want wealth because they believe it's going to give them more power. And I mean, it does give them more power. But again, right now, I'm just going with what the pasuk is saying. Pasuk doesn't say consequences. I don't care about consequences right now. So in what framework would the Eishes Chaim Tismel Kavod be the opposite of that phenomenon in the second half?
Can you explain why you're asking?
Yeah, second half is clear to me. People who are power hungry want money because money makes them more powerful, right? Now, Shlomo is putting that in the same pasuk as Eishes Chaim Tismel Kavod, which must mean that they're opposites. So in what sense is the phenomenon of Eishes Chaim Tismel Kavod the opposite of power hungry people want money to make them more powerful?
Maybe by supporting honor, it's not their honor. So it could be that like people or like women of grace support the honor of others.
Yeah.
And those that are power hungry chase after money. Okay,
so I think that's a good candidate, and this might be what Vital was referencing. I think the one that you're tell me if this is the one you were referencing. I know there's several statements of Chazal like this, but in Pirkei Avos 4:1, I think that's where it is. It says Pirkei Avos 4:1. Ezehu mechubad hamachabed es habrios, who is honored, one who honors other people.
That's not the one that I was thinking of.
You're saying the Rodif Kavod? That's the other one I was thinking of.
I think so. Let me get my Pirkei Avot. I have one.
Okay. Ariel, what are you saying?
I have an answer that answers your question.
Okay.
Maybe you could say that the opposite is, wealth could be like a delusion to honor, right? To Kavod, right? People who seek wealth, like maybe it's because of like some sort of psychological crap about like wanting to be powerful and like getting honor, right?
Okay.
But in reality, you don't need that. In reality, you could feel honor in different ways.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, so you're agreeing with the second half, but you're saying that that's not really what's motivating them. That the strong people want wealth, but you look at the wealthy people really want honor, right? Like the end of the thing is honor, and the Eishes Chaim is cutting out the middleman, men, right? In other words, she's finding a way to, well, okay. I mean, this fits in really well with the Targum, where she actually gets the kavod, she shares in the kavod, but I don't know if it has to go there, but the point that you're making is that she's going directly to the kavod, not through power and not through wealth. Yeah. This is the type of approach I want, by the way. I we don't have an idea yet. Yeah, Zach.
So I have a way to take the negative connotation into the approach I was taking earlier.
Okay.
So basically it's giving an alternative. So it's like a woman who honors her husband receives his favor.
Yeah.
And a woman who chases wealth will get a partner who's intimidating and trying to assert himself somehow.
Okay, hold on just 1 second here. Let me just think about that. Yeah, so that definitely fits into the words better, but I'm not sure if it fits into the words entirely. Eishes Chaim Tismel Kavod v'aritzim yismechu osher. What's bothering me now is, I wasn't, when Yosef asked the question earlier about the singular and plural, I was fine taking it as lav davka, like it could be singular, plural, just like Mishlei, it doesn't so have a pattern anyway. But since the first half in your interpretation, Zach, is talking about a relationship, it's just weird to me that the second half is talking about many aritzim and what they support. And it's also weird that it's not referencing, it's not reference like if his point is to be like a woman who tries, who supports the covet of her husband will get this result. And if the second half is saying the opposite of that, I feel like just say it in the opposite, in the same structure, and a woman who supports wealth, will get a husband.
Maybe arguably, maybe, I don't know if this answers it, but just thinking aloud is maybe it's also for the man, meaning like a man who pursues wealth instead of like providing favor to his wife will become this, strong, intimidating character, which has a negative connotation. Yeah.
That I'm more warmer to that idea than the other idea. I keep on going back to my the way I was thinking. So thanks for filling out your idea also. But I want to pursue that original line of thought. So let's just state what we have so far. So for this one again, so Aritim are people who seek power, and if they or who view themselves as powerful or want to be powerful, aspire to be powerful, those people are going to want to chase after money because that'll give them more power. Either because power is what they want, or like what Ariel's saying, that they want to be they want Kavod also. And then we want to see how the Eshes Chen who supports Kavod is the opposite of that. So I like the idea. This is the last step we took, was that an Eshes Chen is going to support Kavod of other people, not of and not chase power or wealth. Avital, did you find the quote you were looking for?
I think she's looking. I'm still looking for it.
It rings a bell. But I couldn't. I didn't do a full search, but I couldn't find it either. Yeah. So what would it mean then that she supports Kavod? So let's just take a basic. Again, I'm just going to go with basic ideas here. Okay. So basic idea that she supports Kavod is that she honors everybody. Right, she Kavod Habrios, right, or like the Mishnah in Avostai quoted, is the Ezehu Mechuban HaMachavedes Habrios, who is honored, one who honors others. Okay, so she treats every person as a human being and gives them the honor and the respect and the dignity and the consideration, the empathy, all that other stuff, the love that they deserve. Yeah, Rivki Avital.
So I see it. I had to Google it because I couldn't find it flipping through, and it says Parak Aleph Mishnah Gimel, but I mean not in my Pirkei Avos.
Well, you remember that the numbers in Pirkei Avos are all different from different editions.
Yeah.
Right?
So okay.
If I just look at Kavod.
Did you want to read what you have? You have it there. No.
The word Kavod does not appear in
right. It's not. It doesn't. If this is what I'm thinking of, it doesn't use the word Kavod here.
Okay.
This is talking about one who seeks his name loses, like a person who tries to get his name destroys it.
Yeah,
maybe this is not what I'm thinking of.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like this idea.
Yeah, I mean it's the reverse, right? If you're trying to go for a reputation, right, then you're going to lose it or something like that. Yeah. I feel like if I'm not familiar enough with that midrash to rely on it with that mishnah to rely on it as a support. If you have an idea, then I'm open to the idea. But
don't rely on me. I'm gonna find it though.
Okay.
That's not what I do.
Okay. Yeah. So going back to what I was saying here, so Eshes Chen supports Kavod. Now, what's the definition of Chen? And I'm going to say let's just say a woman of Chen, okay, not the wife of a man of Chen, just to keep it simple.
Don't we usually say that Chen is when you find favor in someone else's eyes?
Yeah. So what makes that quality? What is that quality? Someone who has Chen. I mean, the English word for that kind of Chen, what would you say is English word? Because we don't usually use the word grace.
Didn't we say favored, like a favored woman?
Favored is good, but favored to me
colloquially would be popular.
The idea of so there's a word. I think the best word we have in English, and even this is not perfect, is charisma. Okay, but there's charisma of a popular person, which I don't want to say what this is. But there is Mishleic Chen, which I remember Rabbi Moskowitz defines Chen. Okay, so ordinarily when you interact with people, with any person, there is always or it's not always, there's usually a underlying sense of competition, of measuring up yourself against this other person. Like if it's in the realm of money, you're like looking in terms of like, is this person richer than me? And if it's beauty, then like, how do I measure up with this person? If it's intelligence, there's like this underlying competition. Rabbi Moskowitz's theory, and he got this from Mishlei. I don't know where in Mishlei he got it from, but his theory was that chen is a person who chen is the quality where you don't have any underlying negative qualities that the other person's unconscious picks up on. So like people around you will not feel threatened by you, and then they'll naturally gravitate towards your good qualities.
I didn't understand that. You don't have any negative qualities or any negative thoughts?
Qualities. Yeah. In other words,
that seems like a Yashar kind of vibe.
No, but it's not even like that. It's just like things that people would grasp onto to feel superiority over.
In the realm
it's
of
not like it's not like you're just a complete tzaddik, right? Like,
right. It's not that you're perfect.
It's more a neutral thing. It's more just like you're not like in like their realm to compete.
Right. Like you see this person and they just are not, you don't feel like you have to be in a competition with this person, or that this person is going to somehow try to lord it over you. It has to do more with the ego than with the lack of ego than with perfections of other qualities. And therefore, so again, I'm just going Rabbi Moskowitz's definition. I don't know if I want to settle on that for this thing. But what I'm saying is that or the reason why I'm bringing it up is because a woman who has this quality, let me say it with the reverse. The ordinary person, there's going to be a limit to how much honor they're going to want to give to someone else. Because the more honor I give you, then the more I'm making myself submissive to you, the more I'm like being overshadowed by you, the more I'm like letting, holding you out in public spotlight for other people to like revere, But an Eishes Chen won't have that conflict. She'll be mechabed everybody. She'll get everyone kavod and not be like looking for a return or like looking to share the limelight, So it's the opposite. See, I'm being sold on Ariel's idea here, by the way, that I think that the people who are seeking money are really seeking, people who are seeking power are really seeking money. The people who are seeking money are really seeking kavod, And the person who really gets kavod is the Eishes Chen. And how does she get kavod? She honors other people. That's like my rough draft of like what I think this pasuk is about, This hierarchy of like of values.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
In terms of like the chen, like I remember just from like things that I remember learning, when it talks about like Mati chen beinav or whoever it is, I feel like I always thought of that and like, and just in my head it made sense that like the point is it's not a specific quality, that it's in the other person's eyes, because let's say each person is going to have a different qualities that they find attractive or they find like appealing. Yeah, appealing. Then like that I thought was the reason that there's not such a good word for it, because it's not really an individualized thing. Because every person or every time it's used, I feel like it's this chen is going to be different. Each person that is used for has different qualities.
I actually like that. I feel like that goes in well with the pasuk, because so is honoring people. Like when you honor people, it's individualistic as well, which might be why there's a relationship between the two.
Okay, I'm going to agree in part and disagree in part with both of them. So I like the idea that it's a generic quality, but the way I'm hearing you, Avital, and I don't know if this is what you're actually saying, is that it seems to be much more subjective in the eyes of the person who is like finding favor. Let's say like Esther finds favor in Achashverosh's eyes, right? So it sounds like a more subjective thing on Achashverosh's part. But the cases I can think of, and again, I haven't done an exhaustive search of this, but let's say like, Esther and like, Daniel, and like, does he use that term by Yosef also?
Yeah, I was just gonna say he finds favor in the jail.
Right. Yeah. So like, I feel like when the Torah uses those qualities, it's not just a subjective thing. It's because of the actual perfections that these tzaddikim, have, and like it's so apparent that it's like reaching someone who's doesn't even share that value system.
Yeah, but it could be like a cumulative concept, meaning like if I
that's what I like about it. Meaning it's not one particular perfection. It's like a net, like overarching, like aura that comes about from your
At least in the mechanics of this pasuk, it could be like if I honor someone, then as a result, I will find favor in their eyes because I honored them. So if I'm the kind of person who honors people, then I'm also the kind of person who finds favor in people's eyes.
Okay, so that's a different approach than I'm taking, and I think both of them merit consideration. You're saying if you honor someone, then you'll find favor in their eyes. I'm saying a person who has this quality of chen will be the type of person who will honor people.
So, I mean, I think that the end is the same, but it's just kind of what I was saying was explaining a mechanism behind.
Right. So let me support the reason why I'm taking it the way I'm taking it, which is that, see, if you go to the way we're taking the second half, the Aritz basically just wants power, and he's going to go after wealth in order to get that power. But at the end of the day, what he really, really wants is Kavod, you know. But the thing is he's not going to want to share that Kavod with anybody. You know, the last thing he wants is for someone else to out Kavod him. The Eishes Chen is not interested in Kavod. So she is just interested in, I don't know what she's interested in, but she will give Kavod to others. But as a result of that, you know, the fact that she has chen, that she has this quality of chen, that she's not in competition with anybody, is going to allow her to give kavod to others in a way that is genuine and that is not limited by anything. And you know, and what's going to happen as a result of that, and maybe actually this is what you were saying, Zach, but just not with not with the pasuk. I'm kind of relying on the Targum. She'll split the kavod. In other words, she's going to get honor from people also, even though that's not what she's interested in, because she's honoring everyone else, and people love to be honored.
I didn't follow that last point. She'll split the kavod.
Well, that's how the Targum gets it.
Yeah, you know, No, I got the word. I just didn't understand conceptually what you meant by that.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever met someone like this, but there are people who are just like so.
Oh, you mean from themselves? Like they won't take it all themselves; they'll split it to give to others. Is that what you mean?
What I mean is that if this woman is going to be going around giving kavod to anybody, she's not interested in kavod. She's just giving kavod to everybody. But that is such an admirable quality that people will come to admire her. That's what it means. She'll split it, meaning that she's going to get this also, even though she's not interested in it. Split means to share, like to.
Yeah, but the way you're taking it is confusing me a little. Meaning, like if I say like, here's this award for being so awesome, and then immediately say, well, it's not just me, but all these people who supported me, then that's like splitting the kavod up with the people. But like,
that's not what I'm saying.
What you're saying doesn't sound like splitting anymore, because it seems like there's a result that is extra, like on top of what she's giving. Like she's giving honor, and as a result, there's this extra honor. It's not splitting it. Like when you split something, you're taking a whole, and like now you have two halves. The way you were describing it is
you're the one who used the word split, by the way. I said share.
Well, yes. In the translation, you're talking.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, just because the translation we found, I felt like had split in it. It was more of trying to follow the accuracy of the translation than. Idea.
Right. But I'm saying that it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be it's in other words, she is not trying to do that. She's just giving full kavod, unqualified kavod to people. But then that kavod is you know, the fact that she's going out of her way to give kavod to people, you know, in the selfless, not self-interested way, means that she's going to end up being a recipient of that of the kavod as well. I'm not saying I have a full idea, but
yeah. I guess one thing I'd be curious about just with this approach, besides like the mechanics, which I want to understand, but is why specify a woman here? Meaning, like, is it to the exclusion of a man?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure about that. That I haven't answered. Ariel?
I have another interesting thought. You know, like just to bring an example from like Achashverosh.
Yeah.
And like Vashti, according to the Malbim's approach.
Okay.
Right. Achashverosh, like wanted honor. He wanted honor. He wanted the respect from everyone. Right. And Vashti kind of like was a threat to that. Right.
Right.
Because of whatever. But what if Vashti, you know, split her, you know, honor, right?
Yeah.
With Achashverosh.
Right.
Right. I wonder if we can bring out like a second like an idea for the second half of the pasuk from that, but I
see what you're saying. Yeah, and that example, by the way, I think might answer what's bothering Zach, is that Vashti, so just go over the facts here in the particular case, right? So Vashti was actual royalty and Achashverosh was not. And the Malbim holds that he was basically trying to make her appear so that he could basically demonstrate his mastery over her. He was like trying to use her as an object of of glorifying himself. And she resisted because she knew that that's what he was trying to do. So if she had, split the kavod, then maybe it would have had a different result. So I just want to focus on that one thing here. Anyone who's interested in kavod is going to have no choice but to view the kavod in splitting and divvying up terms, because there's a limited quality in the eyes of someone who is chasing after kavod. But in the eyes of an Eishes Chen, she doesn't view kavod as a limited quality. And the proof is that she goes around just honoring everybody, and she doesn't care about getting honor for herself, So it's going to be, that's the amazing thing is how do you the guy in the second half wants unlimited kavod. Who's the only person who actually gets unlimited kavod? Someone who treats kavod in an unlimited way, who doesn't try to hog it for themselves and who just gives it freely to other people. And that's the Eishes Chen.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, so can we look at the second half then?
Yeah.
Just with this idea. So what does it mean? Someone who is strong or intimidating supports grasp wealth.
Yeah, so this is where I think that the idea is bigger than a particular relationship thing, which is I think paired with your question about why focus on a wife, because I was trying to say that there is a hierarchy here of values, is that people who are powerful will seek wealth, not knowing they think that they are seeking wealth because it gives them more power. But really what they're seeking altogether is kavod. And that's the relationship with the first half, is talking about someone who's the polar opposite, who's not seeking kavod. The subject of the pasuk is the seeking of kavod. Now, the question is, why put the first half in terms of a wife? Why put the second half in terms of power and wealth?
Well, hold on. Before we, hold on, I'm not going as fast as you. But why?
You're also at 2 a.m, so no yeah.
Why say wealth if it means they're actually chasing after honor? That seems like a jump to me.
Right. Yeah. That's what I want to answer.
Okay. And
the reason why I'm saying that they are there's 2 reasons forcing me to say that they're chasing honor. One is the phenomenon is that if you look at wealthy people don't want wealth anymore. They want fame. They want power, and
maybe meaning that's in some circumstances, if we look at just wealth as a good thing, right? So maybe, okay, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's maybe. I think it's the vast majority of people. I mean, the vast majority of people. You have people
but we're in Mishlei universe, meaning in Mishlei universe.
Yeah, exactly. Right. In Mishlei universe, then why are the bad guys wanting wealth? Not for good purposes, they're wanting it for.
Can you also say that specifically, because it says aritzim, that it's not just saying seeking wealth, it's saying specifically this type of person is seeking wealth. It's not just seeking wealth for good things.
Right. And that's also why there are really 3 reasons why I'm saying that the whole thing is about kavod. One is that I think that the majority of people who are the poor man wants to be rich. The rich man wants to be glorified, So I think that the wealthy people want kavod, want glory. That's one. 2 is I think that the people who are aritim, who are powerful, what they really want is the kavod, but they think that they want the osher because it gives them more actual kavod. And then the 3rd reason is because if you ask yourself, what is the subject of the pasuk, and you see the first half is all about kavod, and I think kavod is the overarching framework here. It's all 3 streams of intuition making me say that the whole thing is
I feel like there's more points bothering me. I'm just struggling to articulate them. Maybe it has to do with the structure, meaning in the first half, it has to do with yeah, I think this might be it, is that in the first half, you have a woman of favor, and then you have an action that she does. And this action is honoring others. In the second half, you have a person of intimidation.
Yeah.
And the action they're doing is supporting wealth.
Right.
Somehow,
I'm saying running after wealth, by the way.
Somehow. Oh, so you're using.
Yeah, that's what I was using the targum for. Yeah.
Got you for that twist.
Right. And I'm saying that that's an exact opposite of the first half. Is she? What is her whole orientation? Her whole activity is she's honoring other people. Right. That's what she does. She honors other people. And what do these guys do? They seek wealth. Right. They're like running after wealth.
Yeah, let me reanalyze with the targum for a
Sure.
second.
Yeah.
Wait, but he also specifies a wife.
Right. And he also says chassid.
Okay.
No, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
In the interim.
And also for him, is strong people a bad thing or a good thing?
Sounds like you're saying it's a bad thing. I would think. I think like the chasing after, Mishlei is definitely in favor of like, if you want to get wealth, then go to chachma. I feel like chasing after implies like a taiva, like an unhealthy pursuit.
Okay.
That's like a Koheles type thing where he's like condemning like people who think that that's going to make them happy,
Speaking about Koheles, what was your Koheles idea over Shabbos?
I said I wanted to say it after.
I was wondering if you just pause for a second because I really got to go.
Oh, you got to go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pause the recording and I'll say it because if you got to go, hold on. Okay, back to the pasuk, and I feel like just in the interest of time, I mean, let's summarize what we have here. Unless you were thinking of something, Zach, in the meantime.
I was, but I'm struggling with the second half.
Hard. It's hard. Yeah, nothing. I feel like we have like good approaches for parts of the pasuk, but nothing to unify it.
There's a train of thought that I feel like might lead somewhere. I just didn't get to the arrival point.
Okay, why don't you say it, and then we'll go do one of the mafarshim and then call it quits.
Okay. And it might borrow from a bunch of the random ideas we've had so far, but what if the grasping of honor is for themselves?
Okay.
But
rather, we haven't tried that yet.
What's that?
We haven't tried that yet. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But rather than like for the sake of honor, it's more as a metric. So meaning this is a woman of favor, meaning like they are there to let's say go do the extra mile for people, or like to help those around them, and their metric for whether they're succeeding is how people see them and interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they see that people are acting negatively towards them, then it's like they realize that they're not succeeding in their chainness. But if they're getting honor, then they realize, oh, this is like I am actually helping people.
Okay, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So then with the second half, it's like it just confuses me a little bit, because like I can see how like using wealth as a metric
for power.
Something, it's like it's negative, but I'm now lost in like what's
Yeah. I mean, people do that though, right? Like they do view how much money they have as a sign of like how powerful they are. When in reality, like, yeah, money can buy power, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get that absolute power that you're looking for, because either someone's going to come along with more money who can buy the people who can crush you, or you could lose your money, or you're going to run up against a wall. Like your money's not going to be able to save you from disease or from like famine, or, so like they use money as a metric for power, but really it's an illusory metric. It doesn't actually like measure what they're actually like looking for.
And also, just like on what you just said, that the type of power, like Kavod, really is just qualitatively different because of the fact that with the Eshet Chain, she's not like actively pursuing it, but like you said, she's still getting it based off of how she is as a person.
Yeah.
And then with the Aritzim, not only are they not necessarily going to get it because they're not even like they're not directly seeking it. They're going in a roundabout way, but that power that they want, that she has, is just not attainable for them because they're not doing it in that way. So it's impossible to get from point A to point B because they're not even at point A.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're running for the wrong thing. Yeah, it's a good train of thought, Zach. What's the idea? Phew, hard one. Okay, let's do this. Let's read the Rabbeinu Yonah, because he was the one who, when I read it, looked like the most fruitful. And I don't know if we're going to figure it out, though. It could be we walk away with no complete idea here, but let's see. And I finally scanned like the good Rabbeinu Yonah here. Okay, Eishes tismoch kavod arizim yismoch osher anashim hanosnim chitisim be'eretz hachaim. So people who instill fear in the land of living, v'himani kraim aritzim, and they're the ones who are called aritzim. Miloshin lo tartun v'lo tiruun, as it says, don't be intimidated and don't be afraid. V'domehu rasha aritz, an intimidating Russia. V'nachlas aritzim, the inheritance of intimidating people. So he's talking about people who like instill fear in others, who like bully people through fear. Okay, there's got to be a good English word for that. I don't know what it is. The elu, so like think like mafiosos, or like crime bosses, like or certain types of like power hungry politicians, like they really like intimidate people based on instilling fear in them. The elu yismuchu osher, these people yismuchu osher. Now I don't know how he's using yismuchu yet. But let's see. They yismuchu osher v'lo yachushu. They don't worry. Rak lismuchu l'hagil ha'osher l'harbos mammon. They only endeavor to grow their wealth and to increase their money, because that will allow them to grow strong and instill fear. So that part sounds like what I was saying, that they want money so that they can like have more power to instill more fear. They love when people are afraid of them, and are intimidated by the harm that they can do. There's an example of this. Hold on. Okay, well, yeah. Yoser me'avas hakavod v'hachashivos b'nei habrios, more than love of kavod and prominence in the eyes of people. Interesting. So he's saying. So I was saying that kavod is the thing that they want most. He's saying they want power, like they want people to be intimidated by them. They want to feel powerful, like they have this influence over people. That's not for the sake of kavod, but like that's even more so than kavod. Ad, to the extent to the point where they cease giving tzedakah and doing chesed. Gam enehem al hachamas v'haoshek laharbos honam, and their eyes are on violence and extortion to increase their wealth. Okay, you know who I know this is on my mind because I just watched a show and finished all 4.5 seasons, which I binged. That is around this, but this is like the cartel. Like the cartel wants power. I mean, they want money, but they want power, and they don't care about getting it in a kavod-based way. Like they don't care that people like look at them as murderers and thieves and whatever. They just want they like having that instilling fear in people. The Zos Hakas Toa Ma'o. This group of people is an extreme error. Kihem Yadamu Kia Kavod. They think that kavod. Oh, here he is connecting to kavod. They think that kavod is Shiyiru Habrios Mehem V'Yechatu Me'ashram, is that people are afraid of them and are intimidated by their wealth. V'lo yedu, and they don't know ki kavod yagia mikishon hamase v'tuv ha'han hagav shivlos haruach. They don't know that kavod comes from proper actions and good conduct and humility. Ki im ele, because with these qualities, yehi adam ahuv v'ratzoi lebrios, a person will be beloved and favorable to people. V'chashuv nehadar be'enehem, and that person will be prominent and glorified in their eyes. V'yabitu elav be'en hahidur, and people will look upon them with the eye of glory. Okay, so this is very similar to the approach I was taking, but he's nuances here. He's basically so far he's saying that there are people who basically just want people to be afraid of them, and they want wealth in order to instill fear in them, and they don't care if people don't honor them by admiring them. They want fear. They want fear rather than like genuine admiration. And those people are going to refrain from tzedakah and from treating people well, and they'll just try to like intimidate people. But the people who get the real kavod are the people who have good midos and good actions, and they will be beloved by people. Kind of reminds me of that Machiavellian thing about like, is it better to be loved or feared, as a ruler? So like the people in the second half want to be feared. The people in the first half, I mean, I don't know if they want to be loved, but like they're doing actions that will make them beloved. Okay, Urashayim and the wicked, Zadon Libam Ya'aver Esenehem, the aggression or the malice of their heart will blind their eyes. And it will bring them, that blindness will bring them to think that the aggression and the intimidation that they choose and that they love, that is the main kavod. V'chein kasav v'derech r'shaim tateim says the way of the wicked will lead them astray, kasher yisbar b'mekomo, as we explained it in its place. So, okay, and then let's just read this small part here. So why does it say a woman of chen or a wife of chen rather than a man of chen? Maybe it's saying that the guy who's intimidating, if he is the husband of a wife of chen, lo yanichena litzmoch kavod ulhisnahe kahogen, he will not allow her to support kavod and to behave properly, gam biyagia kapeha, even with her own efforts. I mean, what's crazy about this Rabbeinu Yonah is he completely ignores the Eishes Chen thing as part of the main idea, right? He says that this is like he just throws that in as an afterthought. He's not even bothered by that. He really learns this about a person of Chen and a person who is a Rasha, who's an Aretz. And he learns that the whole pasuk is about mistaken ideas of kavod. Is kavod having people cower in fear before you, like people who mistake fear for reverence, or is mistake fear for true glory, or is it people who have the true idea of glory, of like living a life that is worthy of admiration, and those people are going to get the admiration they seek, even though they're not seeking it for the admiration itself. Very, very, it's like parallel tracks with the idea I was trying to develop, but mine was not as clean. Of course, I was taking Eishes Chen seriously, that it's a wife or a woman. He's just ignoring it totally. What do you guys think? It's difficult.
I'm like having trouble recognizing what is so different than what we said. Oh, good.
We'll pretend that we said what he said. Yeah, no. The difference is I was making it more complicated than he is. Okay, and I'm saying that as a degradation. Like I was saying, the power guys really want the wealth, and the wealth guys really want the kavod. And the Eishes Chen really is trying to give. He's saying, no, look, everyone wants kavod. Okay, like at least, I mean, not everyone ultimately, but like people, the default is you're interested in kavod. The question is, what kavod are you looking for? There's a kavod where people are cowering in fear before you. That's what the Russia seeks, and he thinks that is what people are really going to admire. But he mistakes the intimidation for admiration in some like distorted sense. I kind of want to look into that more. But then the Ish Chen basically realizes that I have to treat people well. And, what was it? Maseh, Kishon HaMaseh, like, good actions. Tuvan Haga, behaving in a good way. Like I'm saying, like treating people well. And then humility. That, if he has those qualities, people will genuinely admire him and will love him. And that's like a real kavod. So there's two ideas of kavod.
But he doesn't speak about the Eishes Chen, you said.
Nope, he throws that in as an afterthought. Maybe... And he throws it as a weird afterthought. He puts it in terms of the second half. He says, maybe if the intimidating guy has a wife who is an Eishes Chen, then he's not going to let her like do her thing. It's like a total non-integral part of the idea, according to him. Okay, I think I'm way past my time now. I think there's something good here. We got to bring it home I feel like we touched upon a bunch of good ideas today, but like we gotta.
Could I reframe like it? I don't know if it's exactly what Rabbeinu Yonah said, it's just slightly different words, or if it's like a variant. Yeah. But in the second half, a person who is caught up in intimidating others, will get stuck in the pursuit of wealth and will never graduate past that to getting actual honor from people. Okay. Whereas a person who engages with people not through intimidation but through favor will manage to actually succeed in gaining.
I like that idea. Okay, good. So that also answers the question that you were asking, which is why put the emphasis on wealth if really they're seeking power, right? So you're saying they're just going to end up either, like the Targum says, just constantly chasing wealth, or if you look at their life like from a bird's eye view, you're gonna say, what is this person living for? They're just living for wealth. Like that is what's actually driving them. And like you were saying, like to keep on moving the mark, Yeah, that's good. And are you saying, like, if this is what Rabbeinu Yonah is saying, I think that the reason why they're always looking for wealth is they can't get full power without more wealth. And they're going to keep on getting more and more wealth and more wealth. And then, to try to like get more and more influence. And then once they get like, well, this is the classic problem is the guy who's looking to be intimidating, who gets all the wealth, then has to switch to the defensive and like protect himself from other people trying to take it from him. And so he's still like,
yeah. So I think that's true. I think there might be a shorter cause and effect, which is that like a person who engages in intimidation is warping their understanding of like human dynamics. So as long as you're engaging in that form of interaction, you are now making it impossible for you to gain honor. Like,
I'll tell you why I think, and this goes to the way I was saying the first half. She or he in the first half is treating other human beings like human beings. The wealthy person is really treating them like objects, and so you can't get kavod from a person if you're treating them like an object,
Objects can't give you kavod.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Can I really quickly try to like figure out the H-chain idea?
Sure.
So I was just thinking I feel like it might be shot down, but that's okay.
Okay.
But I was just thinking that could this be saying that because each definition of kavod is completely different? So could it be saying that on both ends, like both for, I'm understanding it as just like a woman of like favor, not necessarily a wife.
Yeah.
So could we say that like both women and men, I mean, it's more modern approach because like how much say did women really have? I'm not sure. But like that both women and men have to be sure that the people that they're looking for are on the same page of kavod and not on the page of kavod of the other type. So like a man who really wants that good type of like kavod should be looking for a woman not who wants wealth kavod, and then vice versa, that a woman should be doing the same thing for a man.
Right. That's a good, and I think that's a good idea. And that good examples of this are with the Zeresh and Haman, who were clearly both in the kavod framework, and I mean, Haman wanted the power and he wanted the wealth, and he goes up and he brags to everybody about how great he is, to his wife. And we all know, that relationship didn't seem like the most healthy one. And then you could argue that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes. Thanks for coming. Yeah. And then with Esther, she supported kavod for Mordechai in the sense that she, told about the Bigsan and Cherished plot to the king in the name of Mordechai, and then like promoted him afterwards, and also was not interested in like stepping into the limelight, for any reason until she had to like save the Jews, and that was not for her own sake. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm going to try to make an effort. I'm not even going to make. I'm going to try to make an effort to look at more Mefarshim and see if anyone has stuff, and to continue this in the chat, because I feel like we got good ideas here, but I feel like we don't.
Can you scroll up just so I could take a picture of the translation?
Yeah.
Or
on the.
Sorry,
yeah, sure. Alrighty. Okay. Thanks for coming. This is a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay. Till next time. All right. Bye.